In this clip, I'd like to take a look at a way that we can actually look at adding and removing hairs from this current hair system. So to do this, we're going to use a tool here called, let me drop down to it here, Paint Hair Follicles. Now, in order to use this, I need to not select my hair or my hair system, but I actually need to select the piece of geometry that the hair is attached to, which is going to be the bald cap. It doesn't seem to want to select there, so I'll go ahead and grab it right here. There we go. And I'll just come over here to N Hair, Paint Hair Follicles, and choose the option box. This stuff's coming in a little bit outside of the view here, so I'm just going to squeeze this in over here. There we go. All right, so to the left we have our typical artisan interface. You've probably seen this time and time again. It's used for texture painting, used a lot in dynamics, lots of uses for it. And then over here are the specific follicle settings. So the first thing we're going to do is choose a paint mode. And you can see that we can create follicles, create passive follicles, delete follicles, edit follicle attributes, trim hairs, and extend hairs. Let's start with creating follicles. So this would be the way I'd go about perhaps adding some hair right here. So I'll click and drag, and you can see I just added some hair in. Now, the reason this added in so cleanly now, but it wouldn't before, is because of this density. You can see right now it's actually a fairly high density. So if I were to put this down to, let's say, 20 and 20, that's a much lower UV density, and you can see I can add a little bit of hair, but it doesn't let me add too much. Let's say I really want to add a hair right there. You can see I'd have to up my UV density here. Let's try 25 and 25, and now you can see I can add in a few more. Now, don't get obsessed with trying to fill in every little square inch over here, and that's because we don't need that many actual hairs. We're actually going to be able, in the next clip, take one of these existing kind of little hair tendrils and make it a lot wider without having to add more. But you can see I can easily come in here and add a couple more here and there. Now, we can also choose, of course, delete follicles, and that way, maybe over here where I've added a few too many, I'll go ahead and shrink the size of my brush. I'm just holding B and clicking and dragging. I can go ahead and come in here and delete hairs right there. So obviously I've gotten rid of far too many, so we'll go back to create and I'll just paint in a few more over here. There we go. Maybe a couple more right there. You can see it's not letting me add right there, so again we'll go up to maybe 30 and 30. And we'll just add in those couple of extras that I want. There we go. Now we also have the ability to add in something called passive follicles. We're not really going to get into those again just yet. We'll actually focus on those after we've created a hairstyle, which will actually be in the next module. And that's going to be true of these other settings as well. Things such as editing follicle attributes. You can see I can choose all these different attributes to paint, but we haven't even talked about these attributes yet, so we don't really want to get into that just yet. We also have the ability to trim and extend hairs, which is actually going to take and make the hairs longer and shorter. Now, if I were to go ahead and increase my brush size here and start clicking, you're not going to see much of anything happen. Same thing if I choose extend. You can see nothing really happens. We'll go back to trim. We need to change our settings over here. I'm going to put my value down to, let's say, 0.33. And you can see now it actually shrunk those hairs down. And of course, if I put my value all the way back up to 1, click, nothing happens until, of course, I hit extend hairs. And you can see that'll bring them back out. So that's going to be a method that we'll have for actually making the hairs longer and shorter. There are other methods as well, but that's one we can definitely use if we want to. So that's a quick look at using the Paint Hair Follicle tool over here. So let's go ahead and end this clip here, and in the next clip we're going to start taking a look at our actual clump settings, which is going to be how we can change the look of this hair as it appears in the viewport. So I'll see you all there.